Welcome to Action Network's coverage of the 2023 Kentucky Derby presented by Twin Spires. I'm Brendan Glasheen, joined by Mike Conti and Mike Somich to discuss their best bets for this weekend's races. It's a great time of year, isn't it? Ready to get in on the action? Well, make sure you do so and get in at the premier horse racing book, Twin Spires, where action users can use the code Action Racing to get up to a $400 sign-up bonus. It's that easy. Head on over to Twin Spires, enter that code Action Racing, and you'll be granted up to $400 in bonus bets. Okay, as it pertains to the 149th Kentucky Derby, we will give you best bets. Mike and Mike have best bets, and then we'll also look into our favorite long shots. Best bets first, Mike Conti. Get us started, please.
Yeah, absolutely. My top pick is going to be number 17, Dermiso Tagake, at 10-1. We've talked about how this race is a fairly paceless race, or we don't know what the pace is going to be in this race. This is a horse that's going to be forwardly placed in a race where you have 20 horses. You want to work out a trip. If you're forwardly placed, you don't have to worry about a trip as much. I also really like number 10 for similar reasons, Practical Move, who's also 10-1. This horse won the Santa Anita Derby. A lot of people thought the second and third place finishers in the Santa Anita Derby had every chance to go by or were going to go by. Not only did they not go by, but Practical Move also won the gallop out in that spot. And at 10-1, a horse that I definitely will be taking a shot at. And listen, number 15, Forte, 2-year-old champ, has done nothing wrong. He's 3-1 on the morning line. I've heard a lot of people talking about regression, him going in the wrong direction, but he continues to win. If his odds float up at all, absolutely we'll be making a win bet on him.
Mike Somich from Racing Dudes, what do you have for a best bet in terms of an outright at the Kentucky Derby?
I agree with Conti. The hate has gone too far on Forte. If he goes off at 4-1, I will also be betting that horse to win, because Forte, probably the best horse in this field right now, just is going to have some trip trouble trying to weave through everybody to get there. For me, my best bet's going to be the 8-horse Mage, 15-1 on the morning line right now, coming out of that same Florida Derby as Forte, where he got a awful trip. Mage's trip was exponentially worse than Forte's. If you go back and watch the video, swung 4 wide on the first turn, had to make an early move, was 5 wide on the second turn, then just couldn't hold off Forte down the lane. Hasn't broken well the last 2 starts, and that's really the key here for Mage. If Mage breaks, isn't sitting top 5, top 6 in this race, I love him at 15-1. It's a big if, but hopefully we're able to do it.
Hey, big ifs. That's what we're interested in here, right? You gotta commit to the bit in terms of what you're into and based on your research, and you both do a fine job at that. Okay, well, here we go. Let's go into favorite long shots. Mike Conti, you first. Who stands out?
I'm going to end up on number 1, Hit Show, 30-1. There's no reason in my mind that this horse should be 30-1. This horse was playing bumper cars in the Wood Memorial, had Lord Miles coming down the outside, and I never like a horse that is in between, and that's where Hit Show ended up in the Wood Memorial. If he was on the outside where Lord Miles was, I think this horse wins possibly by open length. I know that some people might think I'm crazy for saying that, but go back and watch how much trouble and how much contact he had to absorb in that spot. Again, this is going to be a race that's a rider's race that's going to be all about trips. If Hit Show works out the right trip at 30-1 all day long.
Somich, what do you got for a long shot?
Don't worry, Conti, you're not crazy. Hit Show is definitely a horse that can hit the board. I'm not sure he can win the race, but I definitely think he can hit the board. If you want a crazy long shot that can hit the board, let's look at the 7, Reincarnate here. Should be forwardly placed as well, sitting on the board at 50-1. Another horse, look, probably doesn't win the race, but if you're playing tries, you're playing supers, makes a ton of sense. One that could win the race, it's a little bit of a price. Let's look at the 6-horse Kingsbarns here for Todd Pletcher. I feel like I don't really know much about this horse, and that's the main reason why I can't get overly excited here, but has done nothing wrong in 3 starts, beat absolutely nothing in the first 2 of them, and then got a absolutely cakewalk of a pace in his 3rd race. However, when you look at a bunch of the different ways that horses win this race, being forwardly placed and being able to show a kick is one of the best ways to do that. Kingsbarn should get that trip out of the 6th post. He, to me, is one of the biggest unknowns in this race, because we have no clue what the upside is for Kingsbarns at this point. And it took a while to get him a jockey, which probably not the best thing ever to see. But I'll go with the 6 Kingsbarns, 12-1 as a possible long shot winner.
Okay, favorites have won 38% of the time, but it's not a bad idea to look down the board. Favorites have been coming in that second to fourth range over the last half decade at the Kentucky Derby, so should be good. Thanks to Mike Conti. You can find his work at Action Network, actionnetwork.com. Mike Somich, Racing Dudes, racingdudes.com. Thanks to both of you for joining me for Best Bets for the Kentucky Derby. For more racing content, horse racing content, check out actionnetwork.com, as well as our live Kentucky Derby preview show coming your way Saturday morning.